hasn't changed. It can't change. I am who I am. I am part of what I'm part of, and I can never escape that. My circumstances will always be the same.
New calls for King Charles to strip Prince Harry of his princely title and his dukedom after he...
It seems the long-anticipated turning point for the Sussexes has finally arrived, at least according to circulating media speculation. Rumors suggest that Prince Harry may have hurried back to the palace in a last-minute attempt to address the growing tensions before the situation becomes irreversible.
Harry's shock threat to Prince William as he plans a showdown in the United Kingdom this week. Now, of course, I'm disgusted by this, but not at all surprised. Because for all of
reports claim that Harry allegedly rushed onto a private jet, determined to meet the one person who supposedly holds the real influence in this unfolding drama, the individual believed capable of preventing the loss of his royal titles. Surprisingly, these rumors point not to the king, but to Harry's brother, Prince William.
Is overshadow the royal family, trample over their good work, and try and make his brother and his brother's wife, Catherine the Princess of Wales, look bad. Which is why Charles, who is quite rightly spending some time...
Sources in the commentary sphere speculate that Prince William's role has become even more prominent, especially as King Charles deals with serious health challenges. Within this narrative, it is William who is portrayed as holding the reins of decision-making, and therefore the person Harry feels compelled to appeal to.
The Duke of Sussex has quietly stretched his upcoming trip home into a 4-day tour, with a packed schedule that insiders say looks like a deliberate challenge to Prince William. The centerpiece will be a quasi-royal engagement.
There was once a time when the two brothers shared a warm and supportive bond. Growing up under the global spotlight, one was destined to be king while the other was known as the Spare, yet deeply loved by the public. Their relationship was marked by understanding and closeness, until significant changes began after Meghan Markle entered the royal sphere.
But Hello Magazine, a source to Hello Magazine tells us, Harry's in a really good headspace. He's really looking forward to seeing everyone from his patronages face to face. He's really positive about coming back to do all this stuff he loves, which includes, by the way, apparently announcing a substantial donation.
According to critics and commentators, Meghan's arrival intensified tensions and fueled a series of allegations and public disputes that impacted both the brothers' relationship and the monarchy's image. Since the couple's departure from royal duties, sections of the public have repeatedly voiced calls for their titles to be reconsidered.
Give in, you have to apologise. But he's done the absolute opposite. They've had an argument, the King's aides and his aides discussing about where they're going to go.
Across social media, conversations about title stripping have become frequent, with many users insisting that the Sussexes should be fully removed from the royal framework.
I'm going to take you through this because it's extraordinary stuff. So she writes, since leaving the royal fold for America 5 years ago, the Duke of Sussex has had his rare visits to the UK dominated by the angst of battles with his family, the media and the government. This week, Prince Harry is determined to press the...
Now, according to these ongoing narratives, it appears that Prince William may be taking these public sentiments more seriously, potentially contemplating decisive action. Behind the quiet walls of Montecito, Harry and Meghan are rumored to be strategizing urgently, considering how to prevent such an outcome.
During a 4-day visit, his longest trip back since Queen Elizabeth's death, he will again travel solo without his young family after losing his battle with the Home Office. After his level of security, he reiterated that he does not believe it is.
Commentators suggest that the couple is well aware of how crucial their royal titles are to their global brand. Meghan's public image, already under intense scrutiny, could face further challenges if they were to lose them. This is why Harry's sudden return to the UK is being interpreted as an attempt to defuse the situation they helped ignite years earlier.
On bringing them here, there is now an acknowledgement by the Prince and his camp that pressing the nuclear button of a public battle with His Majesty's government and courts was not the wisest idea. A case which is reported to have cost Harry more than £1 million. he will now pursue a quieter under-the-radar approach. Those close to the prince say the government...
Harry's goal, according to these reports, is to repair communication and seek some form of understanding with his brother before matters escalate further. The palace, meanwhile, is seen by many observers as simply responding to a long succession of controversies, from interviews and media appearances to commercial projects and Harry's own memoir spin.
Hope on bringing his family back to the UK. He wants to be able to show his children where he grew up. He wants them to know their family here. He really would like to come back to the UK much more. Now, I have to say here that this is the absolute lunacy of...
Some analysts argue that the Sussexes should have anticipated a strong reaction eventually. Did they truly believe the palace would remain passive indefinitely? Could they have imagined that one of the world's oldest institutions would simply ignore ongoing criticism? In many ways, the quiet restraint from the royal family may prove more powerful than all the public noise surrounding them.
At the end of the day, as he's no longer a member of the institution, he doesn't feel bound to deconflict his diary with the institution. Well, why the hell bother to share your diary then? This just sums Prince Harry up. All of this briefing to Roy and Nika sums up why the royal family
While Harry and Meghan continued appearing at glamorous events, walking red carpets, and using their titles to maintain access to exclusive circles and Hollywood elites, the palace took a different approach. Instead of responding publicly, they worked discreetly. Step by step, they set the stage, and now it seems the moment of impact is drawing near.
It's bringing this guy back into the fold whatsoever. I mean, Angela, could you believe the front of that guy to brief to the Sunday Times? Oh, it's on them now. It's on Charles now. No. All of this is on you. All of your behavior, Harry, including going on television.
For the couple in Montecito, the shift came as a shock. For years, they seemed convinced they were untouchable, believing their narrative of victimhood would outweigh any consequences. But that illusion has cracked, and they've now realized that both supporters and critics are beginning to question the stories that once shaped public sympathy.
That is all on you. This is all on you. But first, you know I never recommend anything unless I truly believe in it, and today I've got something absolutely game-changing for you. Have you ever stopped to think about how crucial comfort is?
They crafted an image of themselves as the wounded, misunderstood outsiders, pushed away, mistreated, and ultimately forced to step back for their mental well-being. But every new controversy, every new headline, and every public dispute has chipped away at that narrative. Perhaps the world never heard the full truth after all.
Family for doing what he sees as a deal with the devil.
He claimed his stepmother had sacrificed him to help rehabilitate her image. I ran the whole communications team for the king and the queen consort.
How do you openly criticize the institution, insist titles don't matter, yet cling to those same titles as the backbone of your public identity? The Sussex brand, for better or worse, has been built on royal association. And now, with pressure mounting, time is running out and their options are shrinking fast.
Or run into the communications team or call us by the phone and say, I'd like you to brief this into the media. I'm not happy with the attention.
What stands out most is how the palace handled everything. There were no heated press releases, no dramatic clapbacks, no public threats. Instead, they responded with restraint, behaving like the composed, enduring monarchy they represent. Their silence became its own message, one so powerful that the Sussexes can no longer overlook it.
Sacrificed me on her personal PR altar. What has she done at that point, you felt?
I have a huge amount of compassion for her, being the third person within my...
In response, Harry appears to be trying to undo the damage, seeking a private, face-to-face conversation with the brother who once knew him better than anyone. They survived some of life's most painful moments side by side, including the tragic loss of their mother, Princess Diana.
It's led to believe that that would be the best way of doing it, and I can understand why.
Harry says he struggled with the onslaught of negative press coverage, but it reached a new level when he started dating his now wife, Meghan.
In the book, you talk about talking to your therapist.
Yeah.
And
growing up under the world's gaze, they learned to rely on each other for comfort and stability. Yet now, some insiders claim the brothers barely speak, if they communicate at all.
where it became very personal for me, other than the fact that this was my girlfriend they were writing about, was the realization that the way that they speak about her and the way they treat her is incredibly relatable.
Still, Harry is stepping directly into the storm, hoping to leave with some kind of victory. But what strategy will he use? Appeal to brotherhood? Remind William of their shared grief? Lean on the lifelong burden of being the spare? Or simply tug at his brother's emotions in one final attempt to avoid losing everything tied to his royal identity?
Family phone. Harry reportedly accuses the Queen Consort of leaking stories to the press and says he and William begged King Charles to not marry Camilla. Harry also says that William and Kate approved of him wearing a Nazi uniform to a 2005 party.
Such an approach might have worked with King Charles, who is known for a more emotional and empathetic leadership style. But Prince William is different. He has made it clear, publicly and privately, that his vision for the monarchy does not mirror his father's. And while he may not yet wear the crown, many believe he's the one quietly steering the ship as the king focuses on his recovery. That is why Harry has rushed to his brother, not his father, hoping to negotiate before the final decision is made.
Closer to his then lover, Camilla Parker Bowles. Now today we've learned that the son of the king lost his virginity to an older woman who treated him like a young stallion in a field behind a busy pub. So what Harry has done with this autobiography is...
If King Charles were the one making the decision alone, the story might look very different. Throughout his life, Charles has been known for compassion and a willingness to give second chances. He has long hoped his sons would reconcile and reunite as a family. Even in difficult situations within the royal circle, he has often chosen patience before action.
What we will be able to observe when we read our papers in the coming days, what he alleges is that they put out sources who brief, and so will they brief, about what William thinks, what the king thinks, and then the article quotes all these sources, and at the end of the bottom of the article it states Buckingham Palace.
But his son, the future king, doesn't operate with the same emotional approach. Prince William's focus is on protecting a modern, streamlined monarchy. According to royal watchers, he is determined to take a firmer stance against non-working royals who, in his view, risk damaging the institution while still benefiting from their titles. His vision is forward-thinking and far less tolerant of behavior that could impact the crown's reputation.
Public stand firmly behind Prince William and his wife, with support for Harry and Meghan plummeting. Does this change things at all, do you think?
Well, I think Harry and Meghan would obviously argue that in part the reason why...
And so, observers say William is now prepared to eliminate anything that threatens the direction he wants for the monarchy, even if that includes difficult decisions involving his own brother. While King Charles may hesitate, William seems ready to handle the situation directly and decisively. He has seen what happens when controversies are allowed to grow unchecked, and he is determined not to let the monarchy face a similar crisis again.
And defenders of the institution of the monarchy will say it will survive. This will be next week's chip paper. They will argue that it survived the abdication, the War of the Waleses, the death of Diana, Princess of Wales. But of course, with each passing year, we are a less deferential nation.
Past scandals have left deep marks on the royal family. Prince Andrew's involvement in the Jeffrey Epstein controversy, especially after the highly scrutinized interview and the widespread public backlash, created one of the most damaging episodes in recent royal history. That period became a stark example of how quickly reputational harm can spread.
One of the risks for the institution of the monarchy is that the more we see them as normal, the more we hear about how they fight, how they call each other's names, how they argue, the more...
Even Andrew's former wife, Sarah Ferguson, faced years of damaging headlines and allegations tied to her association with the scandal. For the monarchy and the public, these moments have remained cautionary tales, reminders of how fragile royal reputation can be.
Speaking.
Well, I imagine that critics...
When royal analysts look at the Sussexes, some say a troubling pattern appears to be forming. Constant headlines, controversies, and dramatic narratives that follow them from one media cycle to the next. This time, however, the monarchy seems unwilling to simply wait and hope the issues fade. The institution appears focused on preventing another reputational crisis.
Fight. Sometimes brothers do fall out.
Prince Harry says today in his interview with Tom Bradby that my door is always open.
And that is why whispers inside the palace are reportedly getting louder. According to royal commentators, the future king is determined not to allow another scenario that could jeopardize the crown's standing. While King Charles may still dream of reconciliation, Prince William's patience has dwindled. The interviews, the docu-series, the memoir, and the ongoing public criticism have pushed him to a point where many believe a firm response is inevitable.
Well, at the moment, the gulf is vast and it seems unbridgeable. You mentioned the Tom Bradby interview. I think that will be a fascinating broadcast on Sunday. Tom Bradby knows where the bodies are. It will be fascinating.
Glowering in courtrooms will switch to what he does best. Supporting and championing children, young people, the military, and rolling his sleeves up with his charities and patronages. Honestly, how could you write this with a straight face? On Monday, the 3rd anniversary of his grandmother's death, he will...
Insiders emphasize that this is no longer about two brothers at odds. It has become a matter of protecting the monarchy itself. William allegedly believes that once a royal title becomes a commercial asset, its meaning is lost. A title is meant to symbolize duty, tradition, and service. When it becomes a brand, he fears it loses its dignity.
Be unsafe for you and your family.
There's only so much that I can say because of the redaction process and the national security matters at hand, but everything. Because in beginning of 2020, I was scored the highest.
Some royal sources claim that the process of reassessing the Sussexes' titles has already begun behind closed doors. And here is where the emotional weight of the situation becomes impossible to ignore. If these reports are accurate, Prince Harry could face losing not just the title of Duke of Sussex, but potentially every remaining symbol of the royal identity he was born into. The question then becomes, what does that loss truly mean for him?
Without actually going through the risk management board. So one does question how that is even possible, and also the motive behind that at the time. And that was in 2020. And as hard as it is to...
For Harry, it would be a blow deeper than many outsiders could fully grasp. His entire life was shaped by royal traditions, expectations, and identity. The palace wasn't just a place he lived, it defined him. His titles were not merely ceremonial, they were the architecture of his upbringing. Losing that connection would reshape everything he has ever known.
It was stopped from being able to do that back in 2020.
What do you say to those who ask, why should the taxpayer pay for your police security if you have your own private security?
Every school he attended, every public engagement, every lesson, every responsibility, every moment from childhood into adulthood was shaped around his position in the monarchy. Even during the rebellious phases, even when he felt overshadowed or misunderstood, he was still a prince with a clearly defined place in an ancient institution.
Russia, but what's the purpose of Yvette Cooper's trip on that front?
There are no talks. There is no ceasefire. I mean, that's obvious if you spend any time here in Ukraine. Nothing has changed on the ground.
To lose that title now would strip away something he has carried his entire life. It would sever the final thread connecting him to the world he grew up in. And insiders say this is the part that truly terrifies Harry. Not the media reaction, not the headlines, not the career implications, but the personal loss that cuts far deeper.
One piece, they say he only wants Ukraine's capitulation. So I think that's the context in which Yvette Cooper is here, the Foreign Secretary. She has actually said that. She's here to show British and European and Western support for Ukraine at an extremely difficult time. But frankly, there is a sort of sense here that in terms of progress towards...
Because removing a title isn't just a legal adjustment, it is a symbolic separation. It is the institution declaring that Harry no longer has a role within the royal framework. It would mark a complete break from the legacy he was born into. And according to whispers within royal circles, that realization is what has sent him into panic mode.
Late 60s, was trying to persuade his family to invite the Duke and Duchess of Windsor, who were sort of living in exile, to come over here. Said, wouldn't it be nice to get them over for the weekend? It might be quite nice to get to know her a bit and things. This was rejected by particularly the Queen Mother. So
the smartest move he can make now is to meet with Prince William face to face. This explains the urgency behind Harry's push for a private conversation. He isn't merely protecting a title, he's fighting for the last tangible piece of the life he once knew, the life he walked away from, and the life he fears he may never regain. And the palace understands this all too well.
Because people are going to go on and about it, and people will say, why couldn't he see his son? He's here from California for 4 days. So the meeting needed to take place, and the opportunity was there. I don't think anything terribly.
Behind closed doors, advisors are reportedly preparing for the fallout. Royal correspondents hint that an announcement could come at any moment, one capable of shaking the monarchy and sending shockwaves through the global media. Because here's the twist.
Anything he'd said. So I think that it will have, and Charles is not a great moral.
The final decision may not only remove the Duke title, it may remove every remaining royal styling the Sussexes use. No Duke, no Duchess, no official royal labels. Nothing linking them to the monarchy. A clean break. A total severance. A final declaration from the palace that loyalty matters and that the crown will always protect its own legacy. Now the world watches closely. Harry's future hangs by a fragile thread, and Buckingham Palace's silence has become louder than anything the Sussexes have ever said publicly.
A difficult subject. She'd always find an excuse. I got to walk the dogs. Whereas Philip is much more, to the point. But I think Charles is very like his mother. So this is not a happy situation for him to be in.
Well, I wasn't expecting the meeting, to be honest. He wants to, and I think if he did, it would be a major distraction because everything that Prince Harry does attracts publicity, and that would be, contrary to what the king was doing. It would be in conflict with what the king...
Whatever comes next, one thing is certain. When the palace moves quietly, the results are always monumental. And if the whispers are true, we may be witnessing the most dramatic royal shift of the decade. Subscribe, like, and share to stay updated, because this story is only just beginning.